Hey team, in this video we will learn about the fuck it stack, coined by none other than the king of JavaScript on YouTube himself, Fireship. So after watching his video, it got me curious on why it is his favorite stack, and let me tell you, the fuck it stack is absolute fire. But before I begin, I decided to split this video into two parts. So part 1 we will focus on just the UI, while part 2 will take you through the practical implementation of Firebase and Svelte. The reason being that I understand that not everyone is interested in the UI and it also tends to get a bit long. Therefore, to ensure you get exactly what you need, I have split it in this format. Alright then, let's get started. To start off, let me fire my terminal. I'll cd into dev, cd into yt, and in here let me create a Svelte app and I'll call it event management. We'll hit enter and we'll create a skeleton project. We'll be using TypeScript, we'll be using ESLint and Prettier. Hit enter and then next let us cd into event management, and in here let me install all the dependencies with npm i. Alright, so it's done. Next up, I'll open my VS Code with code dot. That'll open a VS Code for me, and I'll open my terminal here. I'll adjust the size. If you see, if you go under source folder under routes, this will be our main page. Let us just run the server with npm run dev, and I'll open my browser here so that you can see what we are working with. So this is what you get with the bare bones project, skeleton project. Next up, let's install Tailwind. So I'll just go here, Tailwind CSS for Svelte. I'll click the first link here. We already have our app. I'll copy these two lines, open a new instance here. I'll hit enter. This will give us a tsconfig file, and inside the tsconfig file we'll need to add this. So let me just, yeah, now it's much better. So, and we have to go next to svelte.config.js, and in here we already have this lines and we have this as well, so we don't have to change this. Pre-process a white process. Next is tailwind config.js here, and we'll change the content here. Next up is to copy these lines and put it under app.css. So we don't have it at the moment. Let us create that now. App.css. I'll just paste in values here, close that out. Next up is under routes, we'll have to create a new file called plus layout.svelte. In here we just copy this out. So if you're new to Svelte, this is kind of like the root of our project. This is from where our project loads up. So we just import our app.css so that all the routes from here on after will have access to app.css. So with that, I think we are done with Tailwind CSS installation process anyway. Then next, what we can do is we can go to our page Svelte. So this is the main page. I'll delete all this out. I'll just to check whether our Tailwind is working properly. Let me test it out. So text read 500. I'll save everything. I'll go back to localhost, refresh. You can see there's nothing. Let me restart my server. Sometimes restarting fixes all the issues. Yeah, so that's fixed our issue right here. So this means that Tailwind is available now. Now let's clear all this out. I'll save this and go back to plus layout svelte, and in here you can see there's something called slot. So slot basically is like children's. So everything under the slot is basically a children. So if I put a navbar here now, all the children components which will be having under routes will have access to that navbar. So slot basically is, if you've used Next.js before, slot is think of slot as children's basically. I'll save this here, and just to remind myself, I'll have to create a navbar here later on. I'll save that, and you know what, I'll actually show you what happens if I change this to navbar and save. As you can see, navbar is here. If I have a new route, let's call it main, and under the main folder we'll have a plus page dot svelte. I'll hit enter, and now if I go here and hit main, hit enter, I still have access to that navbar component, which will have this is just a text as of now, but this will be a component later on, as you can see here. So if you've not already noticed, if you want to create a new route, you just create a new folder called whatever your route name is, and under that you have a file called plus page dot svelte. So if I say main here, hit save, you can see this is the main page now, and Siri just acted up.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Okay, and this is the home page. Hit home, save this, and if I go back here, this is home now. I still have access to that navbar, and if I go to main, I have access to that navbar, and this is the main page. So that's basically how the routing system works in Svelte. It's similar to how it was in Next.js. Yeah, so that's it. Let me remove this now. I'll save that. Yeah, that's gone. We'll go back to plus page.svelte, and in here let me create a script tag, and I'll mention the lang as TS, so for TypeScript. In here we'll have a components folder, so components, and actually this will be under source. Yeah, and in here let us create a new file called Authenticate .svelte. Hit enter. Script again. I mentioned the lang as TS, and in here let me say Authenticate. Hit save. Go back here, and I can just I'll just close all this out so that you're not confused by all the plus page.svelte. So this is the root plus page.svelte file, and in here I can just bring that now, Authenticate, and save that. Okay, this is the main page. I'll go back to home. You can see that component is rendered out here, Authenticate. So that's how compartmentalization works in Svelte. It's very straightforward. So now we can start building out our authenticate component. Let us change the background of this, because now it's white. We can change that. So before changing the background, let us go back tailwind.config file and create some custom colors here, which are like so: primary, secondary, input color, and border color. These are some custom colors which we'll be using. Next we'll head back to app.html, which is the root file from where everything is loaded. Here I'll just say class bg primary and hit save. Let me refresh that. Yeah, so we have that background color now. Let's go to Authenticate, and here let me start creating the authentication page. So we'll have a main, we'll have class flex call, item center. This will center everything for us, and justify center. So everything will be in between now. Then we'll have a div. In here, let us have a margin top of 12. I'll have div here. In here, let us have a h1 tag called login. This is the most basic page. This doesn't have much things to it, but the other pages will be much more aesthetically pleasing. So sign in, and sign in with, let's say, Google. If I save everything, it's in the center, and we have a margin top of 12 rem. I'll just resize this so that you can see it better. Now we can start styling the h1. So class will be text2xl, text white. We'll have font bold. Hit save, login. That's fine. Next up, we'll have say class padding of 4, bg white, rounded lg so that it looks better, mt12, font bold. Yeah, so this is basically our the root page which will authenticate users with. So that's basically it. Just to make this more appealing, we could add a Google icon here. In order to do that, let us go to the browser and hit font awesome cdn. I'll click the first link. I'll copy this, go back to our app.html file here, and under the head I'll just paste in this so that we can use font awesome. Next up, we can go, I'll close this, we can go to font awesome icons, and I'll go here, the first link. In here I'll just type in Google so that we'll have Google icon. I'll click this one. Let us have a different color. This is fine, on orange type color. Yeah, that's fine. I'll hit cross, and default size will be XL. I'll scroll down, I'll copy this and go back to Authenticate file here, and under the button tag I'll just save this right here. If I close this and go back here, I have that icon. We'll change the color of this. So color, let us say hash EB4D27. Hit save. Yeah, this is a much better color. So that's it for the Authenticate page. We can move on to the next page now. So here we'll be in this page. Let me go back to main. As you can see, we are in the main page here. So in here we'll need a couple of pictures. So for that, I want you all to create a file called lib, and inside that we'll have a assets folder, and inside the assets folder we'll have a couple of pictures here. I'll leave the link to the repo down below. You can just access it from there. Let me close all this out, and let's go to the main page here. Yeah, now here we'll have a script file lang ts, as we're using TypeScript, and in here we'll have a main tag. Under that we'll have a div. We'll have the main tagline here, and inside here let's have a h1 tag. Let's call it your ticket to extraordinary. Don't mind the spellings, I'll correct it later on. Register, discover, and connect. We save that. We have that here. We can start styling this now. So the first div will be relative, as will be positioning something absolutely. Margin top of 150 pixels. padding of 2, and for large screens we'll have margin left of 133 pixels, and this will be a flex. Okay, then we close all this out. Then the h1 tag, let's have class text sizes, let's say 32 pixel, and font bold. Save that. We'll have text white. In large screens we'll have the width as 710 pixels. Yeah, that looks much better. Then under h1 tag, let us have a div, and in the div we'll have a button. The first button will say create event, and we'll have another button called list of events. Now these stylings I did with the Figma. If you want a video on Figma, I can do that as well. Let me know down below. It's a good tool for the initial prototyping and all. So now this will be a flex call. Let's say padding x of 10, and for small screen we'll have flex row, and let's margin top of 20 and gap of 14. Yeah, let me just, okay, that's fine. Okay, so this we can put under a div so that all of this is in looks like this. Then we can style the button, so class py of 23 pixel. Then we can have padding x of 86 pixels, padding x of 86 pixels, bg white, and text xl. We can have width of 299 pixels, and while we hover we can have a bg of black. You can also change the text color while hovering to text white, and duration of 300 seconds, and transition just the colors. If I save that, now we have that beautiful hover effect. I'll copy this style and paste it to the other button here. And we can just change the color to BG, let's say white, and here we can change to black, and the text will be black. Okay, I think we can change to text white here. Yeah, that's fine. That looks much better. So that is it for the buttons. Next we can have an image. So image, and we'll have to import that now. Let me import it. I'll call it hero pick from. So as our assets is in the lib folder, we can access it directly with just $lib and $lib/assets/ the name of it is heropick.svg. so heropick.svg. okay, this should be like so without the bracket, and now I can just import it here. So hero pick save that. You can see it now here. Now let's just give it some stylings so it looks much better. Logo. Let's give a class. We'll absolutely position it. Negative top. I was playing around the values, so I came up with these values. You can change it to however you like it. Left to 800 pixels and height of 376 pixels and width of 706 pixels, and we'll hide it in small screens, and only if on the big screens XL will render it out. So now you cannot see it, but if I go up, if I expand it, you can see it. Nice. So that is it for the main tagline here. Next we can start building the lower portion. So div, we'll have another div, we'll have a feature 1, feature 1. In here, let us give a div, and we'll have an image here. We'll have a h2 tag here. We'll call it, we'll say create events, and we'll have a p tag as well, something like your events your way, create, innovate, collaborate. Save that. You can see it's here now. Let us now import all the pictures together. I'll just bring all the pictures here so that I don't have to scroll up and down 10 times. So for the source here, I'll give a source of hero 1, and we'll have a alt of, just say hero 1. Let's give it a class of height of 203 pixels. So if you want I know it's a bit too late, but in Tailwind CSS, if you don't know, if you want default sizes, you just give it a bracket here and mention the pixels or rem sizes you want. So width of 400 pixels, and let's give it a padding y of 2. Yeah, now let's style the divs out now. So class, let's have mx auto to keep it in the center. Let's have a max width of 1500 pixels, so that doesn't exceed this size. It'll be flex call, and item center will have a margin top of 60 pixels, and let us have a bg background of bg secondary, and rounded lg for the rounded corners, and padding of 10. Let's save that. You can see this now. As you can see, this is a width of 1600 pixels, and mx auto centers it for us. Now in here, let me next go to the next div here. Right here, we'll have a grid, and for medium size screens, we'll have grid calls 3, and let us have a gap in the x-axis of 10. You won't see any changes as there's only one feature as of now. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just copy this out and paste it right here. So this will be 2, this will be 3, and hero 2, hero 3. Save it. As you can see, when I go to the when it hits the medium size breakpoint, it is 3 calls, and when it goes below the medium breakpoint, it is in what do you say, 1 row. Now we can just style this out a bit now. So in here, let us style the h2 class text2xl, font bold, and text white. Nice. So I can just copy this out now and paste it right here. Now next is a p tag. This will be text sm, text gray 300. I'll copy this out, go to p here, and do the same to the feature 3. Save that. Yeah. Alright, now let's just change the names of this. So this will be join events, and we'll change the text this to something like join events, acquire valuable skills. Same thing for the feature 3. We'll change this to track events, and we can change this to track events and discover new opportunities. Save that. Now if I expand this, this is it. Okay, we can change the margin top here. Let's give it a 70 pixel. Oops, that's 760. I think now it looks much better. Yeah, that's fine. Or else we can keep this to 60 and just change the image to little more, so say 100 pixels. Still not moving. Okay, I understood. So this is the problem. 90 pixels. Oh, 90 pixels. Now it should be much better. Yeah, now you can see that it doesn't coincide with this box. So that's our main page. We can go to the next page now. Let's create a page for this create page now. So create event, when the user hits create event, he has to be redirected to the create page. So we'll create that now. The functionality will be done in the next video, so that to make the people who are not interested in styling and all, I'll separate it to another video. So here we'll have a page.svelte plus page.svelte. Now if I go here, say create, hit save. Now if I go here and say create, it's the create page. So we can start styling here. Again, script lang ts, we'll be doing that later. Main class, let's have text gray 300 or 100, and we'll have a margin top of 10. You won't see anything. And under main we'll have a div, and the div here will have an input box, and let's have a div, and inside the div we'll have a h1 tag. Say create. Actually this won't be the input box, this will be create, and under that we'll have a div, we'll have a label. Let's say label the event name, label event name, this is one, and we can have an input here. This will be of type text. We'll give it an ID of event name. It's fine, and I think that's all. Save everything, and you can see there's something in here. Now let us start styling it. So here, max W of 4XL, MX auto, BG secondary, and rounded LG, flex call, and a padding of 5. Yeah, now we can do the h1 tag. So class text center, text white, text 2XL. Yeah, next step is this div. So flex, for that class, flex call, okay, flex call, and margin in the y-axis of 4 rem. Yeah, next label, I think label is fine, we don't have to change it. We'll change the input styling because it looks ugly at the moment. Enter event name, that'll be the placeholder, and we can give it a class of padding y of 4, padding left of 5, padding right of 24. Again, these values are from Figma, so it's a bit random. It's not actually random, but those were the values in Figma. I just put the same here. Border color, yeah, it looks much better. And I think that is it for this one. We can do the same. No, I think we can, we'll say this as event name. Now I'll copy this, paste it here. I'll say event, let's just give it as description. Save that. We'll change some things here. So this will be event description, event description. This will also be description. Enter event description. Yeah, that's good. That's it. We can have another input field which will be the date, and this will be slightly different now. So just, I've done this before as well. Event date, and this will be type date. Yep, that's good. Next step is I think that is it for the first part. Now we can have input for the guest, for the guests. So in here, let me paste this. I'll remove that. We can have flex of margin y of 4. Save that. Okay, we'll have a div here. So in this div we can have class flex call, flex 1. Yeah, I see I made a mistake here. Flex 1, and I think that's fine. We can actually put this inside this one. Oh, where is it? Okay, so let me check again. I think I went wrong somewhere. I can change this to guest event enter guest name, input id is guest, type okay, this will be a file, no sorry, this will be text, placeholder, enter guest name, it's fine. Okay, that's, I think that's good enough. Just comment this to guest name, and I'll just copy this out, go here, change some to photo, and this will be flex call, fine. This will be let's change this to photo, same here. Upload, let's upload guest photo, all right. Text, it's fine. I don't think we need a placeholder, and this will be a file as well. Yeah, that's fine. Now we can have another field. This is a div, and let this have a gap as well, so gap 2, use a gap 4. In here let's have another field called guest designation, and we can change some attributes here. So this will be the guest designation. We'll change the id to, okay, I can't do that, designation, copy this, paste it right here, and this will be a text area. No, let's keep it as an input. Enter guest designation, it's fine, and I think that is it. 1 2 3. Let's have a button here now. The button will say create, and we can style this py of 2, px of 8, bg of white, text black, empty 8, disabled, the disabled color will be bg white, and opacity will be 25, and if it's disabled we'll also not allow the cursor, so cursor not allowed. Save that. Yeah, so that's our create page. I think we can change this to div, put another div here. Let me say class flex call. Nothing changed. This flex one, I think that looks much better. Space y of 4. Yeah, that doesn't look too good. This, let's say mb of 4. Yeah, now it looks much better. So this is our create page. Next we'll create the join page. So under route, let's create a new folder called join, and this will have this will be a dynamic page. That is why we'll have a slug as well. Another folder, I'll show you what this means. So slug, and under this we'll have a plus page dot svelte. So now if I go to join one, so we'll have a list of events now. So if we click one, it should lead us to another event, and if we click another with a different ID, it should lead us to another page. So let me just say join page. Okay, that's fine, joy page. So join one is joy page. If I go to something like, it doesn't really matter what this is. So joy page, again, it's the same joy page, but different, it will have a different data. Okay, so in here let us create. So again, script lang ts, and I'll explain this in detail in the Svelte part 2, where I'll be diving deep into the features of Svelte. Here we'll have a div, and in here we'll have two components. So one will be event info, and another component will be guest info. So these are the two components which we'll be working with. This will be, we'll have a grid, and for Excel screens we'll have grid calls 3. So event info will consume 2 of those columns, so it'll be a larger, if I expand this, so event call will have the size of 2 call spans, and guest info will have just a smaller section. I'll show you how to do that now. So here let us have a component called, we'll actually create it here, new file is called event info dot svelte, and we'll also have another component called guest info dot svelte. Those are the two components. Now I can just bring it here. Let me remove that. Let's say first component is event info. As you can see, VS Code has imported it for me. Next is guest info, and I'll save that. Now let's go to the first one here. So the first one, again, script lang ts, then let us have a section tag, and inside here let us have a p tag saying formatted date. Okay, you can actually style this a bit now. Empty of 60 pixels, ml of 20 pixels, margin left of 20 pixels. And for Excel screens we'll have a slightly larger left margin, so 277 pixels, and text of white, XL, let's say call span, I keep hitting X for some reason for X. Okay, call span 2. So this will consume 2 columns, PR of 2. So padding right of 8. Okay, so that is it. Close this. Formatted date. We can have a h1 tag here. Name, and I'm naming it this way because when we actually import this, I can just do this and bring it like this. That's why I'm naming it as so. So it'll be easier later on. Next is the description. All right. Class, we can leave this. Actually, that looks good. Class p2. So padding top of 2, text 3xl, font bold. Nice. We can have class of pt2, description, that is fine, and in here we can have a heading 2. saying join the event. Let's give us a class pt of 6, text XL, font bold. Yeah, so h2. Next we'll have a form tag. We don't need an actions, but we'll do need a class. And let's see, pt of 6, and in here let's have a div, and let's give a first row. Always give comments, it makes it easier for you as well as for the people who are referring to your code. Flex call, but in larger screens we'll have a grid, and for larger screen we'll have grid. Let's see, calls of 2 and gap 6.
Who do you want to call?
Okay, Siri is listening to everything I say. Take all my data. The first row, div class, we'll have flex call, and let's have a label. We'll say how, and where did you first hear about us. We'll have an input here, so we'll have an ID, how, type text, and let's have a placeholder here saying where did you hear about us. Yeah, that's fine. Next we'll give it, let's save everything so that you can see something going on. Class py of 4, pl of 5, pr of 24. Again, weird values, but those were the ones which was given to me by Figma. And we'll give it a custom color called border color, which we define in our config dot tailwind config file. Okay, so this is our first row. Now we can again do the same thing. I'll copy this, paste it right here, save it, and I can say flex row, that's fine. Let's say which sector do you work in. Do the second row. And ID will be industry. Text, where did you, okay, this is enter your, okay, this will be the same. I'll just put this, I can't come up with anything on the fly. Just paste this, yeah, that's fine. Next is the third row. Copy this out, paste it right here. Third row, and here let's give a work email, and email. Oops. Same thing here. Enter your email. Next up is, okay, another field. So this is the third row. Flex call. Let's change this to your title. your title, and change this also to title, and this we can say where do you work problem. Fine. Next one is this will be the message. Flex call will have a call span of 2. 1 second. Okay, yeah, as you can see, when I expand to the larger screen, these consume 2 columns, and this consumes 1. That's why it's called span 2. Okay, moving on. This changes to what are you hoping to learn. Change the ID for SEO outcome. Same thing. What do you intend to learn? Okay, this is not input. This will be a text area, and this I'll have to remove. Fine. So that's message, and the last one is button. If I scroll down, okay, that's because of this won't be the same thing anymore. This will be a button, and say register for this event. Let's give some styling now. Let's say class py of 6, px of 8, bg white, text black, margin top of 8. When we hover, let us scale it to 105, and hover bg green should incentivize people to think that it's something good. Psychology. Hover, no, let's say transition all. Duration. I wonder why humans consider green as something safe. Who knows whether there's a story behind that or not. I mean, like, why doesn't red be associated with something safe? Okay, so I'll save this. Let me go down here, and this is what we have. So this is a portion of our join page. Now let us move on to the next page, which is, if I go here, which is the guest info. In here again we'll have a script tag, lang ts. Here we'll have a section. Under section we'll have a div. Let us give us some class. So this will be full screen, h screen, w screen, and bg secondary, so that you can see the difference in the sections. Next we'll have a div, and here we'll have socials, and here we can have a div, and under the div we can have a p tag, share, and we can have a div again, and we can have 3 p tags. So p into 3, we can have Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Save that. If I expand this, you can see that there is this now. Now let's style this a little more so that it looks much more appealing. MT of 224 pixel. I can actually go down. yeah, here. And this is like this because if I go back to now here, for small, for anything below the Excel breakpoint, it should be a grid, and when it goes above it, it is a call span. Like it's in the form of column. Okay, anyway, calls empty of 2 to 4 pixels, ml of, yeah, let me go down so that you can see what is going on. ml of 89 pixels and text weight. Nice. Okay, next is this div, so class empty 496 pixels, 496 pixels, and okay, this is actually mr, I think. Yes, it should be mr. And share class text gray 400. This is class flex space x2 and text gray 200. Okay, that's it for the socials. One, we are here. Two, yeah, I think here. Next we'll have the guest, and the guest will have another div. We'll have a p tag saying guests, and we'll have a div. We'll have a img image tag. We'll have a div again. We'll have a p tag. We'll have two p tags here, so into 2, and let us have guest name, guest photo. Okay, guest name, no, I think this should be guest designation. Div, fine. Now let us give a empty of 10, class of capitalize, so it capitalizes, and tracking wider, so this is the space between the letters. You can see the difference now, the spacing between these individual letters, tracking widest. You could even give a something like this, so if I say 200 pixels, it separates it out. Okay, anyway, widest is fine for me. Div class flex empty of 4, and we can give an image tag now. As of now, just for the time being, let me give a profile pic. So let's say we go here. I think this is fine, this looks cool. Copy image link, go here, paste it right here. Yep, that's outrageously big. Let's change it. So class rounded full, h12 and w12, and object cover. Rounded full. Good. Next is this one, the guest name and guest designation. Class flex call, ml of 2. This will be class text sm and font bold. We can copy this, go here, paste it here. This will be but XS, extra small, and this will be semi bold. No, actually we'll have text gray of 200. It's always a good idea to make use of Tailwind's different color palettes. So I think I read a book somewhere regarding the stylings. Like a given form, if it's a very good form, it'll have, if it looks as though it has just 3 colors, but it'll have 7 or 8 different shades of the same color. I saw that in some video, which looks much more better, but people don't actually notice it. I mean, people actually notice it, but they can't really tell. Anyway, that's enough of the styling stuff. So div, I think I can copy all this, or rather div. Okay, I'll copy this out. This will be the host, but you can change this to hosted by, and we can change some styling here. So capitalize, tracking wide is empty of 10, and this is flex mt4 host photo. That's fine, we can change that later on. Flex call ml2, all this is fine. It's nice. Okay, that's good. We can give the last one recent mem recent members. In here we'll change this to recent member mt10 again, and div image, that's fine. Okay, so this we can change a bit. This div will be a grid, as we'll have multiple members. So grid calls of 2 and empty of 4, and we can change let me see how this okay, I'll give a div here and say class mb of 4. I can give an image here. I'll just copy this image for now. Okay, and we can actually just copy this out. Member name, this will be member designation. Okay, something seems off. mb4 grid calls to mt4. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's good enough. Let me copy this now, so that you can see what happens when we have 3 members. So yeah, this is how it looks. Oops. Expand it. This is what it looks like. And if I, yeah, so this is how this looks like. Now let me just remove all this. Just keep 1 for now. We'll change that later. Okay, so that's it for the join page. Now let's create the last page. I think this will be the event list page. So new file, event list. Okay, so yeah, plus page dot svelte. In here we'll have a script again, lang of TypeScript, and have a main tag here. We'll have a h1, we'll say events. Save that, go to main here. So this is event list, hit enter, events. Cool. Now in here we'll have a div, and we'll have an event card component. So create that. So new file, event card dot svelte, again script lang ts, and we'll have an article here, and we can bring it here now. So event card. I'm not getting the, what is that? Event card. Okay, I'm not getting the suggestion anymore. I'll have to manually import it. Event card. Okay, that's good. Save that. We have nothing in our event card, that's why nothing appears here. Let's start styling it. Class of text gray 100, empty of 10, max width of 5 pixel, and we'll center it with mx auto. So now if I expand this, should not consume more than 5 pixel, and it will be in the center. Now h1 class text 5xl again, giant font bold, and margin y of 5. Next we can go with our div, so grid, and we can have px of 4, but for medium size we'll have grid calls of 3 and gap of 8. Let's have like 4 even cards here. Now let's go to even card and fill this out. So in the article, will have a div, will have a h1 saying event name, will have p tag with event description, making sure that I don't make any spelling mistake here, because later on I think that will be a problem. Okay, next we'll have the host and p tag of host, will have a div, inside the div will have an image tag, and we'll have a div again with 2 p tags, one for host name and one for host email. Okay, now let's start styling it this a bit. So article will have bg secondary, padding of 8, rounded lg, hover, we need a hover effect of bg slate 800. Save that, nothing happens. Hover scale of 110, duration of 3 seconds, so 300, and transition all, and let us also have cursor pointer, because each one of this should lead us to a different page. So if I click this, it should go to this event join / that page. This will be a different page, each one of those. Okay, and next one is class flex call, again call, h1 is class capitalize, and we'll have text 2xl, font bold, tracking widest. Next is event description, class py of 2, text gray of 300, font semi-bold. Save that. This is host, I'll leave the host as it is. Look, doesn't really matter. Flex space x2 and items center. We can have an image tag, so let me go back to guest info and just copy this. Let me go back here, just put it here. We can give it some class h10 w10. That's a really cool picture, by the way. Rounded full object. Cover. And next up is this, so flex call. I think I can leave this as it is. That's the host. We can copy this, we can paste it here and say guest. I think we can leave everything as it is, just slight changes here. pt of 4. Yeah, I think that looks fine. h10 w10 flex call div. Okay, I think we need one last thing, which is the event date, the date when this event occurs. So formatted date, and t is members, so list of all members, and members let me just say as dot length. Okay, I will style this a little bit. So class text array 400 and empty of 4. Same thing with this. Actually leave that as it is. This is how it looks. Not very bad. And if I go down, it changes to a grid style. Okay, so I think we are done with all our stylings. We should double check. I think, yeah. And before I actually forget, yeah, the thing which we're missing was the navbar. So let's create the navbar now. So in here, let's create a new component called navbar.svelte. And here we'll have a script tag lang.ts, and here we'll have a header, and we'll have a h1 tag called event manager co. Save that. You won't see anything. Let me go back to main page, and under layout, let me go here and import the navbar so that all child components will have navbar. As you can see here, all the child components have navbar. If I go to main, yeah, it's here. So let's go to navbar. Let's give a class bg secondary, padding of 4, flex justify between, and item center, text white. Now we can style the h1, so font bold, text sm, md text 2xl, tracking widest. Save that. Okay, h1 is done. Next is the links, and under links we'll have div. We'll have 4 a tags, so 4a, no, actually 3. Oops, a into 3. Save that. will go, the first A tag should lead us to main. Okay, 1 second. Okay, yeah, main, and this will be called main. Next href should lead us to event list. Event list, and we call it event list here. This will be the create. Yeah, I think that looks better. We can also style this class flex item center and space x of 3 font semi-bold, that's the links is done. Now it's the user and logout section. Here we'll have a div. We'll also have a class items center space x of 2, so that all children will have a space in the x axis of 2 rem, and inline flex. So by default it's hidden, and only in Excel screens it'll be inline flex. We can go inside now. Div, we'll have an image. We'll have an image, div image. I think inside another div we'll have a p log in as, save everything. We can see something. Okay. It's hidden by default, so that's why you cannot see here. When I expand it, you can see that you get something. Okay. We'll also div class. I think I made a mistake here. There should be only one div. Save that and see. Okay. Image div. This will be class flex call, and in this here we'll have a span. I'll just put my name for now, or else I can put current user and say class text purple of 500 italic, and we'll also make it as font bold. Let's see how it looks now. Okay, this is how it looks. Not bad. You can't see anything here. Let's again copy this out so that you can see what's going on. Go here, paste it right here. We can style this a bit now. Class h12 w12 rounded full. Save that. Now you can see how it looks. Yeah, that's fine. You can also give an object power here. Object power. Okay. Div, I think we are almost done. Under this div we can have another p for the email. So it's not current user dot email. I made a mistake here as well. So current email, that's div. And finally we need a button for logging out. So log out. You can give some styling here. So class bg white, padding of 2, rounded full, and text black. save that. If I expand this, so this is how it looks, and if I hit log, nothing happens because I haven't created the functionalities yet. Okay, so I think with this we've completed all the UI related stuff. So in the next part of the video we can actually do the fun part, which is the Svelte stuff. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.